I love that opening. Rory, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How yourself? You
I'm
good? All the internet's back, I take it. So,
I, I,
we're good.
I'm pretty good. Yeah, internet was out yesterday. I have a backup internet here, but I had hardware problems with the modem, and I knew
Sure.
about the hardware problems before yesterday, but I hadn't gone in to fix them yet. And then the other one went down, and I was like, oh,
No.
and the voices in your head are like, Mark, the purpose of a backup is to be there as a backup. So if your
Yeah.
backup goes down, fix it. And I was pretty much smacked around by hardware yesterday and got my comeuppance. Finally, first time in my life. If you've been a
Yeah.
regular on the show, you know that I've yet to get my comeuppance, but that was finally it. And I've learned my lesson. And I'm sorry to everyone. And I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, it really wasn't my fault. So maybe I haven't got my comeuppance yet. Okay, so we're still waiting for that to happen. We're
Perfect
starting.
record unspoiled.
Yeah, we're starting early. Ocular Malice is out there. How are you doing? Welcome. We've not seen Ocular Malice in a while, at least not in a hello, here I am form. We are going to let's kind of tell you where we left off a bit, I think, and I'm going to see if I can get this running. I was in the middle of making changes. Roy said, "Hey, you know what? There's some weather issues over here. Tell us about those weather issues, Roy. Why are we here
Yeah.
early?"
So over here in the UK, we're seeing a little bit of snow, and being the UK, we're basically unprepared for everything. So people are losing it over like a flake of snow. So a whole bunch of people have gone home early, leaving me alone here in the office, and I finished all my work for the day. So I thought, Mark, do you fancy going early? Are you free?
Perfect.
Should we just do some more of the awesome?
Yeah, let's do it.
And he's available, so we're here.
Yeah, and we definitely did some awesome last time. Last time you had to leave early. Where were we when you left? Do you remember, Rory?
Tricky to remember because I have actually managed to catch up since.
Oh,
I've
perfect.
watched all the way to the end. So the last thing I saw via the stream was you had managed to perfect the idea of changing the hue and saturation of a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
And you got in some really nice color variation going on there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was not bad. I shut it down the stream and I was going through and experimenting. I was advancing hue by one digit at a time. And I noticed a problem. When I was at 4, it was still bright red. And then when I went to 5, I think, or maybe 5, it was that. When I went to 6, it suddenly changed to a very dark hue. And I was like,
Okay.
it was a dark orange. And I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And I did just a little more research. And let's see if I can find here. Let's switch over here for a second. This is it right here. I did a little more research and improved on the situation. So these lines of code here were it looks like, can I multi-select? There we go. So these lines of codes that you're seeing me highlight right up here behind me, I know those are a little bit tiny. Let's just jump in. There we go. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so right in here is where we left off. This was the code. I did more research and found I can do all of it with this line of code right here.
Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough.
And it's better. It's better in all ways. The hue rotation is better. It doesn't have that jump, that sudden sharp jump. And it allows me to combine in grayscale, and at the end of the line here, if I hit escape jump out over here, you'll see right over here I've got brightness as well showing up there at the end of the line. Right? So it allows me to take care of all three of those, combine them together. I can even crank brightness up above 100%, which I discovered, which was really interesting, right? So I was like, oh, okay, that's very cool. So I can take brightness to like 250% if the image warrants it. And this image is kind of a dark image, the one we were doing with the poofing, exploding stuff. Darth Minos is out there. Welcome. And I think Darth Minius, if I'm recalling correctly, I don't know if this could be absolutely wrong, but that name is so resonant with me. I think that's a past winner on the show.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so CodeRushed winner. So I'm not sure if you got that. Check your DMs there for the message. Okay. The other thing that I'm doing. So wait, let me check in my current set of code here. So if you choose to. You can take all of that. You can take all of my latest stuff that I've got here. So I am in the process now of communicating. I want to communicate send from the master Dungeon Masters application, from that master app, I want to send over to the overlay the instruction to trigger an effect. That's what I want to do. And so I think we're going to work on that today. We're going to try and push through that. To do that, I realized that, well, all the classes, a lot of the classes that I built inside of TypeScript, I need to also build inside of C#. And I actually realized, I think yesterday as I was looking at the code, I was like, oh, I might even exclusively, almost the stuff that I built in TypeScript, like I built a character and I built an item, and an item is something a character can hold, and the item can be a weapon or a scroll or a spell or a potion. And I created mods and I created effects, all of that I created in TypeScript. I realized, oh, I could take a different strategy right after I've written all this code. And the different strategy would be have all those classes in C# and simply only communicate over the data and the effects I want to show. And as I realized that, I thought, okay, I might be taking some of these classes and pulling them out of TypeScript because I thought they were going to live there, but now I'm thinking a redesign makes more sense for them to exclusively, if I can, they exclusively live on the C# side. One thing I'm noticing is my color is changing in my my image here. I want to just go in real quickly. That is due to auto white balance. And it's so funny, like we live in this age where, streaming is all over the place. Logitech is creating pretty good cameras at a pretty good price, but the software for the cameras is a little bit lame. Or alternatively, the way other apps are interacting with the camera. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to click on Configure Video, and right over here, this white balance keeps getting selected to auto like every day. And so I'm going to turn that off of auto right here, and I'll just adjust this manually, and we're going to kind of go right in about there. So it looks
that
like
reminds me of another app that seems to think its settings are obviously best configured by itself. A certain audio communication program that we use regularly.
Yeah, Skype is what you're going to say right there. Ocular Malice says, Mark is pretty dark. Maybe it's the host that's a little lame. Ocular Malice, we missed you so much. So much. I did not. I don't feel complete unless I've been just eviscerated by you. So thank you so much for being here. All right, I'm a whole person now. So what did I do? So I've got a whole bunch of code I'm about to check in here. I started moving the classes over into. This is what I did, I think, yesterday during our time, moving them over from TypeScript into C#. My favorite thing to move over are enums because they just are exactly the same in C# and TypeScript. Yeah. So those I love. There's no changes required there. And then I also added a new trigger effect SignalR command. And all I did is I just searched for unfocused item, and everywhere we had an unfocused item, I added a trigger effect beneath it. So I'm basically just following the structure and the framework we've added before. What's going on here? Sprite proxy. I just made a small change here because TypeScript didn't know about filter because I think it's relatively new. So I typecast it as any and then access filter to get rid of the squiggly underline error warning message.
Sure.
So I did that. Then these are my new classes. I've got my D&D time span, my item. I commented everything out here because I wasn't done when Rory said, hey, do you want to start? And I was like, okay. So I commented all so I could get a compile, at least no errors. No errors. We'll see if it still works. And then I also started... Go ahead. What do you want to say, Rory?
Just one step before, you were talking about how TypeScript maybe didn't know about something. Which version of TypeScript are we currently using? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I'm just sad on that whole thing.
Okay.
I have to, go over to Ocular Malice's. Maybe it's the host that's a little lame, and yeah, I think that it's probably true. It could be all me. All right, so here we go. And then I've got attack and curse and blessing or disease. This is something that lasts a certain amount of time. I've got this overall class called mod right here, which is really awesome. This is for like in Dungeons and Dragons, you have modifications that occur. And so this is kind of this all general purpose class that can modify a player's property. It can modify other things. It can be required that the owner, the item of it is that it's attached to is equipped. That it requires to be consumed, like a potion, for example. There can be a damage type filter right here. So like, for example, if you're immune to cold damage, this mod might not apply, for example.
Yep.
There are conditions as well that it can cause or give you, such as blindness or deafness, an offset right here and a multiplier. So this offset and the multiplier work with the target name. So if I'm modifying a property name, we've written no code to do this yet. This is just the class that's going to support it, but I feel like it's going to work pretty well. But if I want to modify a property name, then a property of a particular name, like say, for example, charisma, and I want to bump that up, I can bump it up by an offset, which will add or subtract it, or a multiplier, which I'll multiply. So basically, I'm just going to add the offset and multiply the multiplier. And then it's up to the mod to define which one of these two it's going to do. So in Dungeons and Dragons, sometimes you say your size is doubled or halved, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Or your or other attributes might be doubled or halved, and so that's what the multiplier is for. Repeats is how frequently the mod repeats, and when it was last applied is useful as well. So if we're going to have this thing, reapply itself again after a certain amount of turns.
Sure. So you might get X amount of health every 10 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that.
Something like that, right? And I added also a time span class here, which is very cool for Dungeons and Dragons again, where we can create time from a certain number of actions. I just realized, sorry, apologies, this is super small. Let's zoom in on this so at least we can see it. So you can create it from actions and seconds, minutes, and hours. So an action is about, I think, 10 seconds, if I'm recalling correctly. And that's essentially what everybody's turn is or something along those lines. Might want to add duration, how long the effect lasts. I think that was in there, but maybe not. Let's go back into mods over here. Do I have a duration? I do not have a duration. You're right. Should probably add it. So we'll do that. We'll add that in there. These are, and basically what I did, these classes, a lot of these classes existed already. We had either built them in previous episodes or I had, done them in my spare time on the weekend. But what I did is I took them out. Yesterday, I took them out into separate classes, so they were all in their own TypeScript class.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm checking in right there. I think that's it. And here's my D&D time span there that's similar to the other time span one. So we're going to take all those in. We're going to say start of episode 80. By the way, I want to thank everybody who's following us. We're at 442 followers right now.
That is cool.
Super awesome. Thanks everyone for those follows. Of course, everybody who's in the follow gets entered into the competition or the contest to win a copy of CodeRushed. So there we go. I'm checking that in. Let's add a tag for the beginning of episode 80. Let's compile it. So this is episode -80-begin, like that, and add that tag. 445. Wait, what's Oculus saying 445 about? What did I do? So much time has passed. I'm like no longer even paying attention to the 445. What is that? Followers. 445 followers. Do I not have an app up? I don't have an app up. That's going to update it. Hold on, starting the app now. That'll probably change right there. Boom, 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 boom. So we've had 3 followers since we started. There we go. There's the 445. Right there. Thanks so much. Yeah, starting early. I missed some of I've got a countdown of alarms that tell me what to do. All right, so let's see if, let me come in. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to kill every instance of Chrome because that's always blocks us from a start. Let's start up and let's see if we can see the color change. What do we have in there? Time measure. What's going on here? D&D time span. That is, I'm going to comment. If I comment out time span, do we get a new error? Build succeeded. All right, let's do that. We'll go with that. This I get always the first time I run, and I don't understand it. Everything seems to run and start up. All right, here comes this. Expecting to see this fill out soon. Okay, let's create the second one. So there's 2 layer overlays we're working, one on the back and one in the front. The front overlay is this one right here. The front overlay is the one I think we're doing the poofs on, and the poofs of smoke. And I think also it's happening in real life as well here over the stream. Let me just double check. I'm going to refresh right like here, and so that's going to reload by changing the scene. It should reload. And now if I come in and I say test poof, I can now come in and give it 3 numbers. I can give it a color change number, so like something like maybe 220, and a second number, which is going to be the saturation. We'll keep it at 100. And a third number, which is the brightness, I'll say at 100 as well. So I'm going to send this into the chat room, and there you can see what's happened. Now, 2 things are going on. We're seeing it in the background on this. I'll drag that away, but we're also seeing it on the live stream. So I'll do it one more time, and you can see I've got this cool blue smoke effect right there. I can change that color. I want to move it more over into purple. I can like add maybe, take it to 260, and there's a little more of a purple color. If I want to go more into the greens, I can say, well, let's make it like maybe 160, and there's kind of a green color right there. If I want to make it drop the saturation, I can do that. So here's just dropping saturation just by putting a 0 in the middle of that whole thing, and it goes almost totally black. And I take that third number and I say, let's make it go to 200 instead of 100. Here you can see what's coming in the chat room, and see how it's getting lighter, Rory? I can take it to 300 now and watch the 300, right? So I can actually bump it up above certain, 100%. I know Mark was the smoke monster from Lost. It's all being shown as true now. I can add a little, let's add like 50% saturation in and see what it looks like. And then we get a little bit, see kind of the cool effects that you can do with this.
It's
right?
pretty nice.
It's pretty
You've got
nice.
a lot of flexibility now with
yeah, this is what I love about the things that we're building, right? We're building things that are super, super flexible, right? This is one set of images, right? That I took. It started out in where were we? We're in Adobe Premiere. Thank you. Not Photoshop. It was Premiere. We were in Adobe Premiere. We had some an asset that was a smoke poof. We took that. We went from Premiere, generated a bunch of PNG files. Those PNG files, they're here. Let's bring those up so you can take a look at those, so you can see how all of this is happening here. Game dev assets, Dragon Age, smoke, dense is where we are right here. So open in, here it is right here. This is what we got and we're starting with, right? So it's all red. In fact, what I've done is I've got another one. There's my dense smoke. I've also have another poof of smoke here, which is a whole different thing. But I've done it in red. I've changed the coloring so it's red to start with and it's saturated.
Yep.
Then with that one line of code, we can make it be any color we want. So this allows us, us to drink health potions and a poof of red smoke to indicate that we're increasing our health. Or, for example, we drink maybe some poison and a poof of green smoke to indicate that, right?
Yep.
These are going to happen over live players as they play Dungeons and Dragons live. So that's kind of what this whole thing is about. Ocular Malice is back to where I was commenting out the code. So new technique. If it doesn't come out, I'll just comment it out. Interesting. Yeah, well, I'm trying to get things so they're running here. So we'll go back and fix those things. I was in the middle of doing a bunch of moving stuff over. Okay, so that's kind of where I feel like we are now. Let's close the C# stuff file I was working on, and we'll close that down for a second. So that kind of brings you up to speed with where we are. Next, I want to do is I want to play with trigger effect is what I think I want to do. And I want to send over some effect data. And the effect data essentially is going to be coming from a C# class, but it's going to, I want to essentially stringify it as JSON, send it across the SignalR, and then what is it called? Hydrate it over in TypeScript as the data, and then put the data into the actual class. So that's what we're going to do. You're
not having so much of the logic in the TypeScript anymore. What you have is DTOs of effect only. So you can dream up
Right.
as many new reasons why to do this on the C# as you like. And the client doesn't really need to know why it was happening. It just needs to know this was the effect. Please apply it to my data and then
Right.
represent on screen.
That's what I want to do. So all the code, unfortunately, that we're going to write today, it's not going to be sexy or beautiful. But at the end, we'll be able to do something sexy and beautiful, I think. We're going to be able to, and I know this is a kid's show, so maybe I shouldn't say, sexy, or it's a family show for everybody, so I shouldn't say that. But it's going to be, what I mean by that is it's going to do a beautiful thing, is what I think it's going to do. But it's going to be some tough code to get through, I think. And so that's what we're going to work on. I think the first thing I want to do is create a test button in in this application right here. So let me go over to the designer. Because we're running, I can't actually see it and work in it. So I'm going to kill the app is what I'm going to do. Let's also kill all the Chrome instances as well so we can get a restart here without being distracted by that. Okay, so let's close this down. So this is my main window here that I'm using, and we've seen, I haven't shown this yet today, but you'll see this in a little bit. And I've got some buttons over here: add short rest, add long rest, or add custom. And I think I want to maybe I put my button down here. Do I want it to affect, I guess the question is, do I want it to affect a person yet? I guess it really doesn't matter. Let's just copy that and we'll paste that in right in here next to it. And we're going to call this button, this is going to test effect is what I think I'm going to call it. Like that. And we'll call this, a text here is going to be effect. Like that. I'm going to double click it. And now we're in the test effect, and I'm going to call trigger effect, and I'm going to send over some sort of data to it. And I guess, you know what, let's just do this for right now. Let's not actually send any JSON over. Let's just send out the word test like that in trigger effect. And whoops, let's not do TypeScript. Let's do C#, like that. Truth hurts sometimes, but revenge is a dish best served cold. Yeah. Ocular Malice, I tell you, yeah, no, he makes me feel so much better about myself, and I haven't unraveled that yet. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe I need some therapy on that.
Part of a little series. Is it wait, code is sexy, beautiful?
Yeah.
Mark?
Not Mark's
Not
code.
Mark's code.
I get there sometimes.
I'm with Johnny Nibbles. He's like, ouch.
Yeah, I know. Ouch! Oh my God! Yeah, this is gonna be great. Maybe we should bring Ocular Malice on live and just bring him in audio. If you want that, you can ping me over on Skype, Ocular Malice, and we'll bring you in. All right, and then we'll get all this firsthand. This kind of like we should actually get. Actually, I think Ocular Malice on audio, with sighs like this, that he can remotely control from the chat room to just come in and inject the sound effects. MZGNR says hello, greetings, glad to have you with us.
Welcome.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that. MZGNR, Ms. Jenner. I'm not sure what
Imaginer.
that is.
It's like Imaginer with no vowels.
It might be that. Let us know if you want us. If you're not liking how we're pronouncing your name, let us know how that is. Ocular Malice says, another time, my old friend, as I have a real job to do right now, but someday. Okay, fine. That's right. He does have to do real work over there in the world. Okay, so here we go. We're going to send trigger effect. Trigger effect is going to come in here called hub connection, invoke async trigger effect. That's going to hopefully work its way down into... is it in, where is it? It's in connection, I think, and is it in the game engine? There it is, right there. It's going to work its way down into here, and when the trigger effect is called, we're going to go out to this function here, and we're just going to send the effect data out to the console log. So if we run it now, I think we got a shot at clicking that button and seeing the console log put the word test in it. That's what I think. So we are running right now. Everything's starting up. The question is, I'm wondering, I think it's going to come in. The question is, which one of these pages is it coming into? I think it's coming into this one, is what I think it's going to come into.
Mark, I believe you've changed scene. The stream has lost everything except you and the chat window.
Oh, you're right. You know, that happens. Thanks for saying that. That happens when we start up. When we start up, something's wrong in terms of selecting a new scene, and I'm not sure why that is. It's picking this one. All right, here. Hold on a second. This one, this one, this one. That one's good. I think I may have shut off. Oh, I think I know what's happened. I've taken off the monitor on these others because I was actually testing with, there it is. There's the piece I need to restore on that one and restore it here. And that should fix that problem in the future. Okay.
Excellent.
So just going through that, these are the different turns that I'd set up. And so I was kind of working with that with the different players. So, all right. Okay. So that's all good. Now, so now the question is, let's go to console over here. What's this? Time span
issue.
Okay, we'll fix that too. Let's for right now though see what we see here. I'm going to bring up the app and click on Effect. There it is, right there. Whoops, do you see it? Yeah, it's just slightly blocked by the chat window there, but there it is right there. So that is working. So we've got SignalR sending data to the overlay. It's actually sending it to the whole app. The app actually has access to 2 different overlays. So the app should be able to talk to both, I think. Should be okay. So next I want to do is I want to take that, that trigger that comes in, and I want to actually put something up and do a poof of smoke. That's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So let's go look at that. I think I was triggering that from Dragon Front Game was the class I was in. That's over here. Dragon Front, great game. In poof. This is what I was doing right here. I was basically sending it out as basically taking the string right here that had the word poof in it. So what we could do, I have Dragon Front Game. I could actually directly call this is what I could do, I think. I could do something like this. If active front game, here we go right here. If active front game, then we're going to say active front game dot test, and the test command is good. We're going to send in, I'm going to send in poof 40 100 100 like that. And I don't know, let's see if that works. Is that it? Oh no, we have more things we need to send in. I'm going to change those to, oh no, I can't because those are all over the place. All right, so we're going to say, let's say, I guess, null, 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 and now.
The invisible user.
I'll say that it's 0, like that. So I'll just do that. That should get rid of all of that. Okay, let's save it. Let's refresh. It's the best place to do it. I think we'll do it right here. And so, but I want to come over here and bring up the front, which is the Dragon Front overlay right there. Now I want to come back to my app, and I want to click on Effect, and if it works, nice. I'm going to call that working. So that works. We're at least seeing it there behind me on the piece. So that's very cool.
So that's a proof of concept working. So we're sending a message and it's causing an effect. It's not causing a specified effect, but we don't have to worry about that for the moment.
Yes, now we're going to. So that's about as cool and visual, in terms of quick time. A few lines of code to some sort of result that we're going to get. Next, we got to dig in and we got to start writing some more code here. Jenny7 says cool effects. Yeah, they are cool effects. So yeah, that's cool. So we've got that. We're drawing on the front overlay. Now I just want to check the stream, make sure the live stream. I'm not sure why the live stream is not doing this because these same things should work on the live stream. I'm just refreshing this one more time. It could be that I just haven't refreshed it yet, and that's why it's not working. I'm going to come up here, click the effect button, It does work. Okay, great. So that's awesome. So I'm clicking my WPF app, and now on the live stream, you're seeing the smoke poof up in that color that we selected. Okay, next, let's look at the whole effect class. And let's take a look at that. We're going to write as much code as we can here without shutting this down. Let's go first and find effect. So here's my TypeScript class. What? Nothing in it. It's abstract. Then below that, I created a visual effect.
That's right, yeah.
Oh no, now I might be into trouble. Visual effect. How are we going to send over which of these effects? Now it gets more complicated. Abstract also.
It does.
Then we get to our sprites effect. This is what we were working on yesterday. We were working and creating our sprites effect. Killer Malice, time span not defined. Time to comment it out. No, I'm going to actually fix that a different way. I think I know what the problem is with time span. Let's fix time span. I am pretty sure that time span is because I moved the file and I didn't add it. There's time span right there. The question is time span used and referenced here? It is. Well, what was the error? The error was time didn't exist or something like that? Let's go back and look.
Well, maybe it's just not in the right order, so it depends what it was not being used or not found by.
Fair enough. Well, it's pretty low level, so we'll stick it there. That could be exactly what it is. Good point, Roy. Let's actually go look over here and see what the error message is. Time span is not defined. Item. I think it's an ordering thing, is what I think it is, Roy. I think you might be right. That's what I think is going on. So it should definitely appear before item, but it did. Wait, it did.
Oh, it did, yeah.
All right, let's go look at time span. What's going on in there? Totally the wrong place. Sorry. Time span. Wait.
So the specific problem was in item itself referring to time span, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it should be timespan.0, no namespacing issues because we're all the same namespace.
That looks really good to me.
Oh, is it a capitalization on the... No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's indeed lowercase.
Let's go look at item and take a look at that.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't get that.
There's no compile error.
It also is not complaining about the first one, it's complaining about the second one. Well, I guess that would make sense because the compiler would say, try to evaluate this before maybe looking at that. I could see that happening. I don't get it. Time span is not defined. It seems pretty clear to me that it is defined.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a chance?
Are we referencing the file poorly? Is it not quite the name that we think it is, or in the same location?
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's go take a look at that. Dragon H time span, Dragon H time span. Nope, same place. So we've confirmed that the location is the same.
Okay.
I'm wondering if, so index is the other piece that's open. Wait, where is this error? Oh, the error is in index over here.
So it's not in the front version. We've just been messing with the front.
It's not in, yeah, it's in the front, but not in the back version. So here's the problem is I'm referencing item here, but I'm not referencing the other pieces that are needed above it. So it's this one right here that needs to get the, time span. I'm wondering though, if I really need, I need characters have items. Yeah. So I'm going to need time span, mod, damage, enum, release, curse blessing, disease, saving throw, effect, attack, visual effect, target, screen possession, target.
All these things that are immediately before item.
Yeah, I think I need all of those. I don't know if I need visual effect and sprite effect, but what the heck, I'll put them in for now. And I bet that solves our problem. And that gets rid of that. All right, so let's do a refresh over here, and that should take care of it. Okay, so that looks like we are better and happier. So no errors there.
Yeah.
We can do a refresh over here as well. And look over here in the inspector, make sure no errors in the console, and we're good. Okay, Next, I need, let's see. What do I need? I need to, I think, create some UI to be able to define the effect. Well, I guess let's look at the effect class. Let's kind of follow our way down through that again, because we kind of were doing that. We had, oh, is it because I'm in C#? It's only showing me those. Let's jump over here and get over here. So here's visual effect, extends effect. So effect basically is a start function inside of it. And we have over here for items, we have effects when it's consumed, equipped, unequipped, or discarded. And that's what's going on there. We have the ability to trigger an effect. And from that, we've got a descendant visual effect. And hold on. We were talking about creating a center point. No, but we're going to, we're going to call it through here, so we're okay there. All right, so our start is basically just grabbing our center position in our sprites effect here, and setting the center positions here and here. Visual effect target. I think we're good. And so we're adding a new entry when we do the start of that into the sprites. So that'll start that animation. So we add a new entry for a smoke poof. It'll start a smoke poof at this particular location. So that's what a sprites effect will do. So I think, and it's got property sprites, visual effect target, and start frame index. Visual effect has no properties in it, and effect has no properties. So visual effect feels like it should. I'm wondering, why doesn't visual effect have like a location inside? But I guess I'm okay with that for now, is what it is. So there's the start. So what we need to do is a couple things. We need essentially, I think, to transfer over, we need some sort of sprites that we need to send. We need some sort of targeting indicator, and we need the start frame index. Isn't it always going to be 0? Almost always, always, always. I did allow for it here, so I guess we need that too. So we need these 3 pieces of data to specify a sprites effect. This also implies that we need to now index by a sprite name, which means, let's go into the declaration of sprites. I don't think I have a name property in here. I have a base animation name, but I don't like that so much. Do I like that? Because that includes path information in it as well. Will Bennett just did test blood, but I think we shut everything down. Will, by the way, we started about a half hour early, so that's why if you feel like you're coming in the middle of something, that's the explanation that's happening there. Ocular Malice, we should totally show that. He would love that. He'd be doing that all day. Should we do that? Let's go ahead and do that. We'll show. I'm going to go ahead and hit run. Wait, it says we're running. Why isn't test blood working? Let's see. Is it working here? Is it working here? I think it should be on the front overlay. I don't see it. I don't see it on either one of these.
Is test blood position correct? I was going to say you maybe need a bit lower.
No, I'm not seeing it. But I don't understand why I'm not seeing it. I think what I want to do is come in and let's refresh the overlay and see if it works now. There it is. Ocular Malice, if you're still with us, you got to love this. This is like, it's got to be shaking it. Here we go. Do another one right there. Do another one. Every time it kind of picks a random direction. If it's like goes straight up, it does just a little bit like that, so you can still see, some of my face. And this is for when the players get hurt. All right. So that's working here. It's not. Is it working here? I'm not seeing it working here on the front one. It should be on the front, as I recall. Let's do a refresh here. I'm going to zoom out too so we see everything in this area here. Let's try another test flood. Huh. Why don't I see it on the front overlay? I wonder if we have. This is looking. Oh, there we go. Something's happening here.
There's something.
It's on the back, not the front. Interesting. Yeah, kind of cool.
The blood arced out of the adventurer as he fell crumpled to the floor.
Rory, you're gonna be our new dungeon master. All right.
All
right.
You can do better than that.
So I work out of my home, and right now something is cooking that smells amazing as it's just coming by me right here, and so I'm like slightly distracted by that. Okay, so let's create something in TypeScript. And by the way, I haven't done this. I have no idea what I'm doing, right? We should do like the usual disclaimers, right? That
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know Jack!
That's kind of the basic premise of the show. So in sprites, we were talking about identifying it by name. I think I want to, I don't want to use base animation name because it includes path elements in it, even though that could be a way that I could identify it. I instead want to give it a new property up here. So I'll type in VS for variable type string and then type in name and hit enter. And now I've got a name for the sprites. And now, so now I can identify it. Next, I want to go, let's see, I think dragon front game.ts, the TypeScript. Here's my dense smoke right here. This is sprites. When I create it, I want to give it a name. Like this. Whoops. And set that equal to dense smoke. Like that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So just so I've got a way to then find it or identify it later, right, when that piece comes by.
Sure.
Okay. Then next, let's see, where were we? Right in here. These are the three pieces that we need to work with here, right? So sprites we can get by the name. So we can find it by name. So we really need the sprite's name. So I'll change that. We need the visual effect target. Let's go look at this. I built this, I think, yesterday, and I'm already like, what? It's an abstract class that returns a center point. What do I have descending from this? Anything yet? Screen position target. Okay, so we're going to say screen position, I think, is what we're going to do for this. Or should I duplicate the classes all the way? So right now, Ray, I'm thinking, should I make it simple? And I'm kind of leaning towards simple in terms of transferring of data. Or should I make it complex and actually create the same set of classes on the other side? And then when I reconstitute it, figure out what it is, and then create and initialize the right class type of each one. That's what I'm thinking
it's a
about.
tricky one. Because if you have two sets of classes, then you basically got to keep them in sync. As when you change each one, you got the other side of the equation in line. If we keep it simple, then you're talking about pretty much just coordinates on the screen at which to do things, having already figured it out based on an assumption of screen size from the server.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that as the center position is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna say so we're gonna say we need to send over a sprite name, an X and a Y, and a starting frame index. So that's not too bad right there in terms of what we can send over. So if I were to create a new class here, and we'll call this the sprites effect DTO maybe.
Okay.
And let's just paste that in there, and that's going to be a string. Should I go with vector here? Well, then it says listen softly. That was so loud. What was so loud?
That was our Mark knows nothing what he was doing. So, for example, we can duplicate.
Force and ignorance!
Is that coming across loudly?
He's claiming that was loud. I'm not listening to the stream volume, so I can't tell. Um,
Let me see if I can. I've got my desktop audio control on brute force and ignorance. It's all the way up. I can drop it down a little bit on that. I'm not sure that that is the problem though. Hold on though. Wait. It's really loud compared to the voices. Huh? Why is that?
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's run it. I'll listen to the stream. Let's see what we can hear.
Excuse me. I think it is a volume
Not
adjust
go
problem
again.
on my side. I'm going to go into my volume mixer. I think what's happening is the volume mixer is kind of interfering a little bit on this. Let me go bring up the volume mixer. And let's see what we've got here. So we've got Rory and I. We could kind of be louder, I suppose. The system sounds, speakers. Where's my desktop stuff, though? OBS is here. That's playing from OBS. I could drop OBS a little bit there, too. So it's kind of like those two might have an impact. Let's see. Here we go.
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know what he's doing!
And also, I'm going to drop the sound on that particular one anyway. Let's go back. Let's go back to it. Let's
Disclaimer!
too, drop it.
Mark doesn't know Jack!
How's it sound, Roy? Are you listening to it?
I'm trying to listen to the stream and our conversation, and I guess it is a little louder than the voices. But to be fair, it's just sort of an announcement style thing anyway. So.
All right. Okay. So here we go. Let's come in here, and the fun thing about TypeScript is that I can create these data objects really quickly here as well. And
You were a moment ago considering a vector instead of the XY.
yeah, I
What are your
was.
thoughts on that?
Waiting for Will to say, vector, my friend. That's kind of where I was. Yeah, let's do it as a vector. We're going to say center. That's what we're going to say.
My feeling is that if you have two or more things that are pretty much always sent around together, then it's easier to have them as a composite than it isn't as two separate things.
You're totally right.
We've got a similar logic for user elsewhere in the code. We've got a user ID, user name, display name, all these three things you have to pass around, but they're never going to travel without one another. So, yeah.
There we go. Will Bennett says not going to say it. If you
Can't
can make
make
me. Yeah, sure, I can make you watch. This is. I think I know Will well enough that if I do this, what is it? X, not like that. Come on, you want to do it, Will. Right? Is that okay with you, Will? Can we do that?
It's a shame we can't alias number as not a vector and just label it that way. That'd be fun.
All right, we're gonna go back here. He's like, "Argue." There we go. I fixed it. All right, we're good. It's just we all push ourselves here. We're all growing. Okay, yeah, vector. There we go. He shouted it out.
What's your vector, Victor?
Okay, so that's my sprites effect DTO, and that's how I create a new one of those, I guess. But actually, am I ever going to need to create a new one like that? I guess maybe for test purposes, it makes sense to do that. So I will have that. So it's got sprite name, center, and start frame index.
Okay.
Now I need something with these three properties on the C# side of things, right? So let's go over into our DHDM app over here. Now I'm going to, I think, shut things down. Well, then it says you got your airplane reference, Rory.
Yeah.
I'm shutting down so I can create
very old reference.
a new class here and do that kind of work here. So I'm going to, let's see, let's add a new class, and we're going to say, what did I have on the clipboard here? I have those pieces. That's not what I wanted. The sprites effect DTO, I think, is what I want to do. DTO on in C#. I don't really have to worry about name collision because they're two different projects. So I'll just keep the same name, I think. And I think that's the same name. And let's change this from TypeScript into, now we've got a problem with the vector. I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. And will I create a new one on this side? I think maybe I will, because that'll actually give some depth to this right here. So let's tell our spell checker that, hey, sprites is okay. Whoops. Come on. Come on, spell checker. Add to dictionary. And then vector, I think we're going to have to declare here as well. Do I want it to be a struct instead? I think I want it to be a struct. And we're going to have an X and a Y. And I think that might be good enough for now. Like that.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then let's create a constructor over here. I'm just using the CodeRushed template CC and then saying select all so that I can just pass everything in and it'll initialize.
Yeah,
like
I don't
that.
think we've shown that before. That's a fantastic feature, just allowing you to generate, let's face it, a whole mess of useful code that is pretty much boilerplate in
Right.
just a few characters.
Right. You can also use it with duplicate line very effectively. So I say I've got a couple of these. Let's say I want another property of type or a public field of type string. I can just hit Shift Enter on that line and I duplicate the line, give it something new, whatever that's going to be, new name like that, new name. You know, build all of these out first, right? You know, whatever it is, call this middle, something along those lines, right? Come down here, end index, whatever I want to do, right? Build all those pieces and then just come down here and type in CC again, say I select all, and then there's my initialization for everything, right?
Nice.
So you can do those kinds of things. All right, so let's clean up all of that. Yeah, but it's
We've been
fast.
asking, shouldn't the integers be doubles? I don't know. Should they? I think he means in the vector.
Oh, yeah, of course. I totally agree with that. So TD, there we go, double, and there, fix that. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so there's a sprites effect DTO, so we need to create one of these things and then deserialize it and send it over. So we need to do, that's what we need to do. So in our test button, which is, I think, wait, that's character sheet, sorry, wrong. Yeah, we're getting to a point where the files are so big, I'm feeling constrained by the monitor size. By the way, question to folks out in the chat room, if I don't know if Twitch supports this, but if I changed my resolution to 2560 across by 1080 high, in other words, ultra wide, and if Twitch supports it, I don't know if they did, would you guys be able to watch that, or would you not have monitors where that would fit, and you'd have to end up looking at something like an envelope? That's my question. If you want to weigh in on that, let me know. Because I've totally thought, oh, how much nicer it would be to be able to,
If
shoot
only
out
we had
2560.
some way to poll the users in the chat room.
Yeah, we do have that way to do that. whatever is being made in the kitchen, not too far away from me, is smelling amazing right now. Will Bennett says he's good.
Will needs to go home because he's got a 43-inch monitor. It's like, that's not fair.
It's not fair. All right.
I want one of those.
I've totally lost track of where I am. I'm going to here, main window, XML.
You were looking
and
for the
here,
UI for your XAML, so
Yeah.
you can, yeah.
This is what I want to do here. I want to come in here and say, I want to create a new sprites effect DTL. I want to say the sprite name, and we called that dense smoke, right? And I
believe there was a space in that in the name.
I think I got rid of it.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
recall removing it, so we'll see what happens. I want to give it a new vector, and its position is going to be, I kind of want to put it, well, let's put it in the middle of the screen here. It's just, so you see smoke coming up from the middle of the screen, we'll know, hey, that's working. So I'm going to say I want it to be 1920. Half of that is about 960. Okay, and then half of 1080 is going to be 540. Okay, feels like I should have those numbers memorized by now. Start frame index is 0. Okay, so there's my new sprites effect DTO. I'm just using CodeRushed to declare local there. Now I need to serialize this thing. I feel like there's something out here called JSON, and I've got to go grab it or find it or do what, whatever. Let's go do a quick search on the internet.
Yeah.
See what we get. I should have.
I feel like there's like a standard.
I should have tasked you with finding me a link out here before, giving you time to do that.
I'm just wondering if I got a project lying around here where we have it already.
I have it in another project. Somebody says, "Oh, that's right. We did this for our other project that originally we're starting with. Let's go search for JSON and see what we can find."
Newtonsoft do some JSON serialization.
So yeah. We've got it here. We're doing this. We're loading this stuff up. We're saving it out. Add JSON file. I wanted to look at. It's not in this project. It's in another project, the piece I was looking at, but it's newtonsoft.json. I'm looking for does it going to have what I want is the question. All right, so let's, where were we? Let's see if we can find where we were.
I feel like they literally have a JSON serializer.
Yeah. Deserialize. So let's go in here and see newtonsoft.json. Do I have a serialization namespace? Okay, wait. There was something up before.
There was the second entry on that list.
Yeah, was it JSON serializer? Is that what I saw?
Type serial, yeah, I think so.
JSON serializer dot create. That's a new instance.
You could probably just new one of those up. It's got a serialize method, takes probably a few overloaded versions, but one here takes a writer.
Let's do this.
Text writer.
Let's come out here and let's do a search and see if we can find some help out there. I want to do C# serialize to JSON because I don't remember how to do this. Oops, that looked like a faster answer right there. Yeah, look at this. 706 upvotes on that. JavaScript serializer class? What? JavaScript serializer. Okay. I'm okay with that. System web script serialization. Any other answers down here? Newtonsoft. Better than the default. Boom. That's what we're taking. Look at that.
Serialize object. That sounds
I'm
pretty
upvoting
generic.
that one right there. Oh, fine. I'm not upvoting you now. Okay, cool. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say Newtonsoft JSON convert. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And remove type qualifier. So there we go. And now we're going to say,
Sprites effect DTO, pretty much.
Yep. That.
Here's my object. Make it JSON.
Declare local. CodeRushed knows it's a string. And then we're going to send the string. Okay. Sweet. And now I think we're going to run. Let me just kill all the Chrome instances that we've got up running so we can still run. And now I'm pretty sure, are we still sending that console log out in the connection.ts? If we're not, we can change it. But I want to make sure we're going to see that. We're not. So we want to change this a little bit here where we want to say the effect data and send that out. We want to say console log effect data like that. Send that out. Okay. So let's see what's happening. We haven't started. Are we still building? Okay, now things are just starting now. So it's interesting to know what will happen with the do the inspect, bring up the console window. I was wondering what would happen since we made changes to it and saved, right? It's saving while it's compiling, building, and starting up. So the question is, what happens if we do this? Are we going to see anything out here? Oh, cool, we do.
Oh, hey, there we go.
So sprite name is dense smoke. The center is not set.
Unspecified.
Looks like we failed to do that. And the start frame index is... yeah, it looks like, why isn't the start, did I just fail that completely?
Maybe the default serialization doesn't do sort of deeper levels than the top level?
I think it has to do with the public. These are private, and there's nothing public
Okay.
about it. That's the problem there. So I'm going to have to stop it and fix this. So I'm shutting everything down. Do that and that, and that's going to at least get us. That gets us there, and that's going to fix that. I think that's going to fix that problem. So let me kill every instance of Chrome again. We'll start up one more time. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to, I just noticed, look, I've moved off to the side in the stream because of when the other piece started, it's testing the different scenes. And in the Dungeons and Dragons game, the different players have different positions on the screen. So that's what's going on there. Okay, so here we go. Let's bring this up. Inspect. I'm going to click on the WPF app. Click on Effect, hit Console, and now we've got an X and a Y. Awesome.
Nice.
And it's starting frame index. Okay, good. So now we kind of need to act on that on this side, on the TypeScript side of things here. So I think it's going to look like, let's go into connection.ts, and I think it's going to look like something like this. I think we're going to say if active front game, then we're going to call in active front game dot trigger effect and pass the effect data in. Like that. That's what I'm going to do.
How are we going to read that data from inside there? Because it's not quite the same as what we were previously sending in.
We're going to need to make something. We're going to need to create
Kind of parsing of
yeah,
JSON.
we're going to need to unravel it. It creates an object and then transfer the data from the object we've unraveled over to the object we're creating. I mean,
Okay.
the object that we want to work with. So I'm passing in, so I've just declared that. Let's move this down. Ooh, I put it in game. I don't want it in game. I want it in, I wanted it over in Dragon front game. And I might need to come back over here and say if active front game is Dragon game, like this, and then TypeScript does this really beautiful thing right here. Will Bennett's saying, I think it's object.create and pass in the JSON data if he's recalling correctly. Super cool. Sorry, this is not instance of. Right? Instance of.
I'm also seeing options where we can literally go just JSON.parse, which I have to say I didn't expect to exist, but maybe will work.
Cool. Why is it not getting triggered? It should totally get trigger effect now. What happened? Did I put it in the wrong spot? I put it in Dragon front game. Oh, not Dragon game, Dragon front game? Is that my problem? That's it. That's my problem. There we go. Okay, cool. I love this, by the way, about TypeScript, right? The ability to check, hey, if the instance is true, then it's just now promoted this to this type, which means I can now call functions on this particular type. I can even do an or kind of check here, and it'll allow me to work it as both in terms of that. So it's really nice.
The combined types are very nice.
Yeah. Okay. So there's my trigger effect call. It's coming in over here. And now I want to, what do we have here? What are we going to use, Roy? Do I need to look it up?
So here's the thing. We've got a couple of options. Will says that there's an object create option, passing in the JSON data, and that'll get you an object out. I've also found a JSON.parse, which suggests that an object can be pulled out of that. I'm guessing that we would cast that to a type that we've defined in TypeScript anyway. So do we have a type, a JavaScript type so far, JSON type, that we'd like to cast that to?
I don't, and I'm not sure I want to create one. Is kind of where I'm at.
Unless you see, the thing is that you're going to have more and more things on the effect data, and you're going to need to know or find each part of it. Although technically you've just got an object or an any, I guess, haven't you? So you could still access it in that sense.
You know, the most beautiful thing about this show, Rory, is the therapy you give me in terms of, this is the sensible way of doing things, Mark. And you've totally cured me of my aversion to creating a second object for it. I was going to say I didn't want a second object because I didn't think it was going to really be of value. It's more to maintain. And that second object, there'll be no methods we can use on it anyway if we cast it to it, because those won't exist. It will have never been instantiated. It's just coming in from the parts.
That's true.
So I was thinking,
Surely a data structure.
Yeah, we're just going to parse it into some object. I don't care the name. I'm going to get errors because I'm going to just say it's an any, and then I'm going to start copying stuff across because I know the JavaScript will work. That's kind of where I was leading to. Well, let me show you where I was going, and then afterwards we can look at it and see see where we are. So I'm going to say let my DTO type any equal that.
Yep.
And now I want to work with my local object that I think I already created, which is, let's see if I can even, it was in the sprites effect is what it was, right? It was a sprites visual effect.
That sounds good, yeah.
And it's a sprites effect is what it was here. So here's the DTO that I kind of created, and it may be that we don't need this at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the problem is we can't get the method call on it that I'm aware of. When I deserialize into typecast, I can't call methods on it. Let's just double check to make sure that that's the case. JavaScript, deserialize.
It's an interesting one. When you deserialize, if it is actually creating the
Typecast
object, then
call.
the object will have methods, and it's a case of setting the public properties. But if the parse.json doesn't know that that is the object, then it is just a JSON object, a JavaScript sort of plain old object. It doesn't have methods on.
Yeah,
I don't know how
problem,
that works.
So the problem that we have is that I think that's the problem. And so what I want to do is I think I want to say, I think I actually don't need this for right now.
If you've got an alternative method, you could take your sprite effects DTO and pass it to the constructor of the sprites effect.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. So I was thinking we could do that too. So I was thinking we could come in here. The question is how many times are we going to hold and save that data is kind of what I'm thinking about. Right? It's like we're kind of passing data off to another object, passing data off to another object. But we could go with this, right? I could come in here and I could say, let's do this. Oh, we could do this. I could say new sprites effect DTO, and then come into this DTO. Since it's of type any, it should allow me to access anything on it. And so we were sending over sprite name. So I'm going to say DTO of, and I think this is correct JavaScript syntax, sprite name in quotes.
I think you need, single quotes perhaps around that's it. So that says access the sprite name member of the DTO object.
Yeah. And then over here, and then.
But if it's an any, you don't actually have to use that. You could just go dot sprite name, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of where I was headed.
Because any is the please don't complain at me about this.
Yes.
I promise you it's there. It's like dynamic in C#.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay. And then we've got our vector is next. So here we need to say a new vector. So we've got our current one, and we're going to pass in DTO dot, what is it? DTO
center.x.
Center.x. Beautiful. .x and DTO.center.y. Okay. And the starting frame index is going to be DTO.frameIndex, I think. Right?
Yep.
And guess who's trying to get, no, it's start frame index. Guess who's trying to get IntelliSense to work and is failing in that? It's me. All right. Okay, so there's start frame index. So that gets me my new sprites effect DTL.
See, seeing you type it all out like that, I see where you're going the other way, which is you've got that just to pass it into a sprite effect DTO, just to then turn around and pass that into the sprite effect itself. Whereas you could just take that line exactly as you've typed it and pass it into the effect.
That's kind of where that's kind of what I'm going for right here. So let's
The
do
only
this.
thing I was wondering is when we do the JSON parse and we get our DTO, which is sort of a plain old data structure.
Yeah.
Can we cast that to the sprites effect DTO and sort of pick up on the methods that, well,
we can't call any methods on it. That's been our experience before. I remember doing this before where we cast and we could not call any methods on it. It just simply wouldn't work, and I wasn't exactly and that's what I took away from it. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, right? I could be totally recalling this wrong, or I could have been experiencing something that was.
I would only be guessing anyway. So let's go with your experience that said we couldn't do that for now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. Let's do this too. Let's say, let's do this. If sprite name, and I think we're going to need to refactor this, but if it's equal to dense smoke, then we're going to say we need a variable type sprite. So LSPS, I think is my shortcut for that. Sprites. Like that, and then we're going to say that if it's dense smoke, then sprite is equal to this dot dense smoke.
Yep.
Let's do an else. If it's equal to a puff, then we're going to say it's equal to something else, which I haven't done yet. But let's build this too, so we can actually show it working right here. So let's duplicate that line. I'm using tab to next reference. Duplicate. Whoops, not there. Duplicate that line, make it be, did I copy that? I meant to be puff, like that. And let's grab this and duplicate that and change that to puff. And we'll get this down on the next line here. And let's get the path to this right. Do I have that open still? Looks like I don't. All right, so let's go find that path. Assets, smoke, dense poof is the other one right there. Open file and folder explorer. So it's poof and poof. Let's call this poof. And the frame count here is 67. Okay, so expected frame count is 67. FPS 30, sequential, true. That's just this last parameter. It says it wants to pad it with zeros. So we're going to call this a puff. And the origin X and Y, we need to determine that. That's determined by where it's starting from, I think, or kind of where we want the center of this to be. And it starts from the left side, but I kind of want it to start from the left as you're looking at the player. So start from here, but then its center to be really more about here. So what I'm looking for is like one right about here, I think, or here. Then I'm going to open that up in an image editor and find the X and Y position. Here's my image editor right here, of about where I want the center to be, which I think is going to be about right there. So my center position for this thing, here, let's get something else so we can see my X and Y positions. I'm going to make this be the center. So I'm looking at the bottom left of the screen, and it says that's at 229,698. Okay, so then we come back to the code, 229,698, like that. So now that's got a centering on it, and then we're rocking down here, right? So the sprite name, we can do the lookup, and we can change this. We can put this into a collection later, which is like super easy to do. In fact, it's all this code that you saw me duplicate, the two double draw calls, all of that goes away when we've already got a class to handle that for us. So we can move that in a moment. I'm going to keep it here for now. There's my sprites. There's my center. Next, let's go over into sprites effect. What do we need? We need a visual effect target, which we can get, and a start frame index. So we have everything we need to create a new sprites effect. So now what I want to do is I want to do that. Now, we've never used sprites effect yet. So it's kind of cool that we're kind of testing two things at once here. Normally I like to test just one thing, but so this is going to be a screen position target right there.
Yeah.
and we're going to pass in what? Not passing in a vector.
Oops.
But we were told to do that. Why weren't we listening?
I think perhaps there weren't enough voices shouting at us to do that. Somebody dropped the ball on that one.
All right, we're going to change this to a vector right now. I wish, why weren't you there for me, Will? Wait, Will's tagging a whole bunch of stuff right here that I missed here.
Yeah, so he was talking about the idea of a benefit of a concrete object. So what we can do is instead of our DTO being of type any, we can say that the DTO is of type screen effect DTO. Sorry, sprite effect DTO,
that's the benefit.
Which will then, although it's duplication, it then means that you can go on and use that and have all of the IntelliSense just pop up for you. It's pretty useful.
That's the benefit.
Even if we don't then have actual methods, so it becomes a pure data object which we could pass in its entirety into the sprite effect, to the sprite effect, rather than the individual pieces, perhaps. And that might be an interesting way of doing that.
That's awesome. I feel like my family is eating hot buttered bread out of the oven in the next room. I don't know if I mentioned that there's a smell coming from the other room, but yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's see. Sprites effect is there. We want to create a new sprites effect. I think, like that. What's
I
wrong?
wonder was there a third parameter to sprites effect?
Oh, there was starting frame index.
That's the one.
So I could just grab off a
dot
DTO.
Starting frame index.
Yeah. Is that going to be a string? Do I need? I guess it'll be converted over. I'm again looking for IntelliSense. And why didn't I have it here? I thought I had it here. Starting
Your DTO isn't any. It has nothing.
frame index. Yeah, no, I'm not asking that question. I figured that out. It's like, all right, so there we go. Sprites effect is working now. I think we're good. I was just wondering why I didn't have it up above. I thought I had written that code before. We had gone over here and checked it and copied that to Clippers. It's not. It's start frame index. Hold on. Let's fix that. Okay, I was just looking for the code above. That's all. Okay, so there's our sprites effect, and I think what we want to do. Let's look at our sprites effect. Is we just want to call start on it. And I think that's all we're going to do. And I think there's a shot that that's going to work.
So does
here's where it was.
Actually have an implementation? Oh, there you go. It was the one thing you hadn't copied up yet. It was the next in the list.
I was looking up, not down. All right. What do you want to say,
So
Roy?
does the sprites effect start? Does it have an implementation?
Yes, it does. Sprites effect
I know
start.
we have a lot of abstract stuff.
Good question, though. Let's look at it.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
It takes the center, and then it says sprites.add, passing in the starting frame index. So that's what it does.
Cool. So you're right. We got a shot.
We got a shot. I'm not liking it, though.
No?
Yeah, no, it's okay for now, but where we want to go, it's not going to be elegant. And I'm trying to figure out where, how we want to solve that. And here's what I'm thinking, just so you get a sense of what I'm thinking about. In order to change the hue, we need, what's going on over here with add? Add is adding a sprite proxy. We don't want to add a sprite proxy. We want to add a hue shift sprite proxy, or whatever we created, which I should actually rename now to a color shift sprite proxy, I think, instead. Let's see that. That's in the game engine, should be, if I put it in the right spot. Nope, I don't see it there.
I thought you had renamed it already.
Let's see. It's in here.
It was in that last location.
It's in sprite proxy, yeah. Yeah, color shifting. So it's okay. That name is good. But we need to pass in we need to have a different class there. And so we need to change this add to something different, which means we need a color shifting, sprites effect, or we need to, specify the ability to change colors in the sprites effect, which is maybe the better way of doing that. So I'm just kind of looking ahead and I'm thinking, it's not super elegant. But let's see if we'll think about that and see if we can come up with something good. I think I said I'm ready to test it. Is that right, Rory? Are we?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
All right, let's do it. Let's test it. So we are going to shut down everything that's running. I'm just going to close this down, abort everything. And
So let's see what in theory is supposed to happen. Okay, so we're going to run up the system. We're going to specify specifically the Dragon front game that we're going to target. We're going to have the WPF application. We're going to hit the effect button. The effect button is going to generate a C# class with all the correct parameters about this particular, I think it was the dense smoke that we were going to call. Can't remember for certain.
Yeah.
That's then going to be serialized using the JSON serializer. It's going to be transmitted over the wire using the SignalR. It's going to receive here. It's going to trigger the trigger event, which is then going to deserialize that same class into TypeScript or indeed JavaScript class. We're going to take the pieces out of that and then execute this using a sprites effect. Sounds amazingly good.
Yeah,
it's going to be really impressive.
It sounds even better in a British accent than an American one. So so awesome there. Will says you can use the data to create a concrete object. We're talking about, are you saying a concrete object which has the methods I define and I can call those functions? That's what I'm interested in doing, because my memory is telling me I can't do that in JavaScript, that I have to put it in, transfer the stuff across essentially manually. And so I'm looking for like the most elegant way to do that. So, so let's see. Let's play with, I'd actually like to prefer playing with the stream and see if it works on the stream. Let me reset the overlays, switch over here, and click on my effect button. That worked. It's showing up in the middle of the screen, right? Just where we set it. To go, let's go set a breakpoint in our C# code. Over in main window. Yeah, look at all this mess of all of this code. Main window, C#. Let's set a breakpoint here. Let's change some parameters and see what happens. So clicking effect, here comes our breakpoint. Let's move it back down to 1080. So it's going to be in the center of the screen at the bottom right there. And let's change dense smoke to puff right there. And see if we see a different kind of thing playing out. I saw nothing at all. Let's see what's happening over in, let's go over here. See what's going on in the inspector console. What do we have? Dragon front game is not defined. What the what? I know where that is. That's the same problem with the other one. We kind of need to define it from here if we're going to be referencing it. Okay, from the main one. I don't remember which one we are. Hold on.
You're not actually targeting the front game though, there, are you? That's the back game.
Yeah, here's the back game right here. I just want to see what happens when I click on effect here. I'm not getting even a sense the button is actually clicking, but I bet it is. If we put a breakpoint here, let's try one more time and click that button and just step through the code, make sure. Yeah, okay, I just wasn't getting feedback. This all looks good. Okay, so then we're putting those numbers in there to the effects DTO, double check it, and it says it's puff, serialize the object. Let's get over into Dragon front game and set a breakpoint here. See if we can stop there. Is it going to let us stop? Not hitting here. It's not going to let us stop here. But we can.
Is it possible we just didn't organize the this.puff fully? So we didn't go through every location and duplicate what we were doing? Because we got as far as that section, but is there anything that follows it? There you go. Push.
No. This push is just adding. This is when we're doing the test for the proof.
Oh, it's the test version. Okay.
Yeah. So there's that. Hold on. No, I think that's all we needed. Yeah, that was it. So it's not, the puff is good. We're creating it. Smoke dense poof. Oh, maybe this is the problem right
path,
here.
Perhaps? Or,
I think the path is the problem. Let's go double check it. The path is smoke poof.
Not dense poof. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then the file name is poof. So let's try that now. So that could be entirely the problem. If we refresh here and we refresh here, oops, pause in the debugger. Let's run it before we get into a lockup problem. I always panic when I'm in that scenario. And we're refreshing. Close that down. Okay, now we're refreshed. Let's come over here, click on effect. There we go.
There we go.
So now we're seeing the different animation, right? Not bad.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Super sweet. Now let's take it to the next level, color change. Right? Let's do that. And by the way, Will, I asked in the question, got a link to I was asking about what's the most elegant way? That's the question that what I'm asking the link for in terms of deserializing into something that I can call functions on. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay. By the way, let's play with this because we haven't done this in a while. This is kind of cool stuff here. These are going, I have to click on, these are not working though for me. Is it because, do I need to refresh? Maybe I need to refresh. Let's see, I want to see them on the stream is what I'm looking for, to see these working on the stream. Let's see, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So when it's a player's turn, that animation will happen. So when it's Kayla's turn, she'll come in front of me like this. When it's my turn, I'll be in front of people, and then my stat data will show up, and you can see this on the live stream, right? So we've got, this is what we're working on, these kind of cool live effects here, changing pages and even highlighting, right? This is what I would call good work, right? Yeah. It feels complete, it feels done. It allows the dungeon master to come in and highlight a particular attribute or property, and it change, with just the minimum of effort, right? I'm just clicking on this, and if I were to click on here, because I want to talk about your proficiency bonus with regard to skills, I just click, and it does everything else. It closes scrolls, opens them up, that sort of thing. So kind of some cool stuff happening there. And then the effect also now we've got coming up here, right? The poof. So now let's change it so we can set the color from over on this side over here. So let me switch the view over here so we don't have the effects on top of us anymore. And I think I'm going to have to shut everything down to work on it. So let me shut it down from here. Let's close down my Chrome as well. And I think this will be the last thing we do, Rory. I think we're going to add 3 numbers to it that allow us to modify the hue by 0 to 360 degrees, the saturation between 0 and 100, and the brightness, which will allow it to go beyond. And I think that's where we'll stop, and then later we'll just we'll keep kind of pushing in this direction for the next show. So so over here I want a sprites effect DTO. Let's go look at that. I now want to add a couple more properties to this. Doubles maybe instead. So we'll do this. We'll say VD for a double, and it's going to be the hue shift like that, and we're going to make that public. And we've got a hue shift, and then we've got a saturation, and then we've got a brightness as well, like there. And so those are the 3 pieces that we're going to add and pass over. I think that's all we need to do. Well, we need to let's pass these in here as well. I think hue shift. What I should have done, actually, here, let's do this. We'll put a marker here, put hue shift in there. Hue shift is an uppercase F, is the way I defined it up there. Saturation. Let's get the type in here. And brightness, like that. And I want to set defaults for all of these, so that's 0. Yeah. Saturation is equal to, I'm going to say -1 here. And because there's no, and same thing with brightness, I think. We'll set these as to -1 values if I pass them through. And so if hue shift is 0, I'm not going to do anything, and if saturation is -1 or brightness is -1, I'm doing nothing. Does that make sense, or is...
No, that's good. I mean, we do need express values to be here as defaults because we need them to be on that DTO when it's sent over the wire, because those defaults won't exist on the other side unless they are expressly present.
The problem I'm wondering about is that I discovered that with the smoke, that dark smoke, having brightness greater than 100% was necessary to get it up to that very bright white that I wanted it to be. And now I'm wondering if having brightness be less than 0 is something that I might need as well, in which case this -1 default will have to change. I think I'm going to wait till I experience that to change it, but I'm worried about it for now. Sprites effect DTO, and now I'm going to pass over some additional stuff here. We're going to do a hue shift of like, say, 200 and 200, which is going to get it into the bluish purplish range right there, maybe 180. Okay. I'm not going to change saturation. I'm not going to change brightness for this first test. So we're going to put a puff across. We're going to make those changes. Now on the other side of this, in
Sprites effect.
no, I think it's
which
in
has got the
Dragon
DTO
Front
next to it.
Game. I think it's here. It
Okay.
is. Hold on. Let's see what's going on here. It's in trigger effect. We parse the DTO out. And so now we want to say sprites effect. Oh, yeah, I see where you were. Yeah, you're right, sprites effect. We do want to change that, but I got to pass it some values over here. So now I'm going to say DTO dot, and I got to just come
Hue
over.
shift.
Yeah, I got to go grab the exact text of it all.
That's probably a better way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, which is, I'm trying to remember, where did I put it? Did I put it up? Nope, I didn't put it there. There's where I put it. Okay. And so we're going to grab hue shift and DTO dot saturation and DTO dot brightness. Okay. Now we're going to go into, let's take these and go into sprites effects constructor. And we're going to modify that as well. And we're going to put those in here, comma, and I want to grab, I want number here, and I want private here. So I want to take copy from there to there, and then paste, and then paste. Did I get that right?
Yeah, missed the commas,
Comma,
but other
missed the
than that,
comma. Okay.
good plan though.
It was a plan. It was not bad. It was an awesome plan.
Not there, a little earlier.
Yeah, let's do that. And
Right, that's good.
that's good. Okay, we're just
Now we need
okay.
to use those.
Yes. And so now what we want to do is come in here and say if hue shift is not equal to 0, or needed this on there, or this dot saturation is greater than 0, or no, greater than or equal to 0. We're going to call the saturation, those are valid values, or this dot brightness is not equal to -1, greater than or equal to 0. This is that problem I've got, right, with that, you know, so we can definitely brighten, but we won't be able to darken below 0. I did, by the way, test darkening that poof to 0, and it was totally black, as I recall. We can do that test right now. So if that's the case, then we need to come in here and we need to say this.sprites.push, and we need a new color shifting sprite proxy right there. We'll say the starting frame number, which is going to be, I think it's this dot. Wait, hold on. Will Bennett is saying not equal to. He wants doubles. He wants double equals out there for me. He wants it that, and that. Right? Stack Blitz. He gave me a link. That's to answer that question I was asking before. Right there. Okay, cool. We'll take a look at that maybe in a little bit. Rory, you might take a look at that link now. So wrap your head around this while I'm coding here. Okay, so we're going to say color shifting proxy, and we're passing in the starting frame number. So starting frame index is there. This dot center. Don't I have a center in here? Wait, Oh, it's the visual effect target. Sorry, visual effect target dot get center. We need an X and a Y here.
Our color shifting sprite proxy should probably take a vector.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You know that the words of Rory come to mind, right? Which is, you know.
I'm just channeling Will.
Yeah. Let's just have the next reference and see where we're creating it. We're creating one here, and we're creating one here. Okay, so not bad. So let's change it to a vector. And we're going to call this our center, like that, and that's going to be a vector. And then we're going to say center X and center Y.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go all the way out to the sprite proxy and do that yet because I think that's going to just, everything is all over
That
the
would
place.
hurt many things.
But we will definitely change it here. I'm happy about that. So let's go see where that is. We've got this one.
So just new vector around that.
Okay.
Will Smith says I have earned my TypeScript black belt. I'm assuming this is for the use of a vector.
That's awesome. Because that didn't take a lot of work. Because I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to work my butt off to get that, to get like a, I'm looking for a yellow belt right now to upgrade from my white belt. Okay. So, all right. So there's our one color shifting sprite proxy. And then the other one, which we're still in progress of adding, is this
Sure.
one. And
now we just have to get center, and that qualifies as our vector, so that's good.
Yeah. Hold on a second, though. I want to kind of get this so we can start seeing everything. So there's our get center call. So good on that. Lifespan in milliseconds is optional. I'm going to say nothing to that. No lifespan. Then I'm going to say, what is it? Set hue. Set hue, set brightness. And I'm going to pass in this dot hue shift, this dot saturation, and this dot brightness. Like that. What did I get wrong? Okay, it looks good. And then a semicolon at the end of all that. Let me just do this dot call. I'm going to bring to the next line right there. On that. So there we are, we're creating that. What's
I think
wrong
we have just
with my
one more extra
push?
parenthesis at the end.
Is that what it is? Do we have an extra line?
Same directional as we were. So we're closing the push, closing the color shift, and closing the set hue.
Oh, is that
So
what
that's
it is?
3.
We're missing 3. What's wrong
Maybe
with
not. Is there an additional parameter in push? So we're pushing the proxy, but with something else?
hold on, we got a problem up above.
No, I'm
What's
not.
going
I'm
on
missing
here?
that out.
Oh no, it's just the one.
That
Okay.
matches that. That matches
There we
that.
go.
It
That's my
is
problem.
less.
I think these are are moving over into here. So now can I get?
I think I maybe sent you the wrong way on the parentheses. I think maybe there's one less because you already had closed. There we go.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm like,
no?
we're not really counting it. That's matching with that one. That's matching with that one. That feels right. What's wrong with push?
Doesn't
Push.
exist on sprites.
Hold on. Where are we? We're in sprites effect. What is sprites? Sprites is a type sprites. Oh, sorry. It's because I need another reference to sprites, the actual thing that it owns inside of there. So we should rename this one right here to say the I don't know, how am I gonna solve this yet? I don't have a good naming solution on this yet. Maybe sprites ref like that for it's a reference. I don't know. I'm not liking it. Okay, so there's that. Else we're gonna do this right here. So that's kind of what's happening. So we're gonna come in here. We'll just put this in braces so it's just making the code a little bit easier to read. That, okay. So now we should be able to adjust brightness and saturation. So now let's run it. I think. Have I killed every instance of Chrome? I just did it, just in case it's still building. There you can see right there near the tip of my finger, you've got the build progress there happening. Things are starting up. Let's refresh our overlays. We'll just play in the overlay space for a little bit here. Actually, we should see no change when I click effect. I didn't see anything happen, actually. Why nothing? That part doesn't make sense to me. Let's come over here, see what we got. I think we're still going to have that one error that we saw before, or we might get to it when something comes across. Let's do the local. Get the overlay up. Nothing. Where's our console? Anything? Nothing? No errors in the console?
No.
We get this one. This is the one
That's
before.
the one we had before, yeah. Okay.
What's going on?
What do we change? What do we break?
I think it's somewhere in here. I think we're about to say "oh" pretty quickly here. Let's go look at the dragonfrontgame.ts. Let's try setting a breakpoint here and just see what we get here. So let's click this button, effect. What? We're not getting here. Oh, we can't set a breakpoint here because this is in the other piece that we are not starting. We're not telling it to start up. I'm not sure how to do that, by the way. How to say start up on a particular page or a different page or two different pages. So like right now, when we start up, index gets there.
I think it's the properties of that project. I don't know that you can do two, but you can nominate, I think.
I wonder if I can go from here to the other one as if I were clicking a link and then now be able to break. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. I'm almost thinking that's maybe a dumb idea. I shouldn't have ever said that. Let's see what happens. Look at that. It did it.
Wow.
That was totally it. Bringing it up in a separate page didn't do it. But if I did the one that I was connected to, as if I had clicked something to get to it, that's what I was trying.
So is that because Chrome runs multiple background processes to service tabs? So potentially it's using two different processes for these two different tabs, and thus you've connected to one, but not necessarily to the other.
Yeah, I think that might be it. But at the very least, it was so interesting. I was like, oh yeah, I think this is going to be embarrassing if this fails, right? I'll finally get my comeuppance.
There are no stupid statements. Well, okay, maybe.
It almost happened. Yeah, that was the stupidest thing you've ever said, Roy, right there. Because there are stupid statements, I tell you, I've heard them.
Oh, there are.
All right, so now let's see what happens if we click that effect button. Let's see if we can get that breakpoint there. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's look at our DTO. What do we got? Hue shift, saturation, sprite name, all of that. So all of these are zero coming in.
We've got a whole lot of nothing coming in. Didn't you set some values?
No, I set them all as zero, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, wait, you're right.
There's a 180 somewhere.
You're right. We did. Why are the values wrong? There's a problem on the outside of this. Let's run it again and let's go see. Let's run it. Let's go over, was it here? Yeah, I got a 180
so
for sure in there.
Zero, you got a 180. You're setting a sprite effects DTO. It's got the word puff in it. Puff made it across though. So have we got maybe some casing issues with the properties? Or are they all public? Or
no, we should all, I don't know. All of those seem like they should have worked. Let's come in here, click one more time. Effect. Let's look at this, see what we got. I'm just going to hit F10. And what happened? Why did I not get to... Looks like, am I running again? I'm running again for some reason. I don't get that. Does that mean we have an error here? Let's hit F11. Step into it. Okay. So we're here. And let's go into that. And F11, setting values.
We're not setting them. No, the content doesn't set it. We've got the the signature of the constructor's fine, but we don't actually set any of the values.
Okay, that's going to be important. It's not the reason why nothing's happening yet, but it's definitely an important piece.
It's a
I
link
definitely
in the
forgot.
chain that we need. Yeah.
Okay, so we have that. Then we have saturation, and then we have brightness. Look at that. Look at CodeRushed doing that for me. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So here, boom, 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 like that. And then let's keep stepping, serialize the object. Does that look good? It looks good to me.
Go 180, got -1, -1, good.
All right, and then trigger the effect. And then, so now the data should be good. Let's go back on the other side of this. which is here. Set a breakpoint, I guess, here. And let's go click on trigger effect. Love the edit and continue. Why am I not stopping? What's happening? Set a breakpoint there. Click on effect. What? What's happening? Why no break? Well, let me refresh. I don't know. Is it going to work now? Nope. I think I'm going to have to stop and restart. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Stop. How are you doing with time, Rory?
I'm good. Yeah, we can go.
You don't want to go out there in that
we can
snow.
get to the end of this.
You do not want to go in that snow, young man.
Yeah, because one flake and that's it. I've had it.
Will Bennett's asking, maybe consider making get center a center property instead. I had an idea that I was going to be calculating that, and so the answer is I don't think so. I'm going to have descendants overriding that. Don't you have to get to the prior page first? Will Bennett asked, that might also have done it, but I was thinking we did not change that page, so it still should have worked. That was my thought there. So starting up again. You know the sad news? You want to know what the sad news is, Rory?
What's that?
That awesome smell I was smelling has kind of died away as if it was yummily ingested.
It's
consumed. By just a happy group of family members. That that they each got a separate, an extra serving. All right,
Yeah.
so we'll wait for this to finish right here. Will Bennett says, I ate everything. Yeah, thanks a lot for not bringing it in. You'd think the family would watch the show live, it would boost my numbers up, and they would then, bring in food to me, but no. All right, so we're going to type in, we're going to go from here to drag in front overlay. So then now, look at that. You just saw, did you see that?
I saw that change, yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's
good.
Awesome. Okay.
So we're going to punch that effect button and we're going to be in the right place.
That's what we're hoping right now. So we're going to punch the effect button, effect, boom, we're in the right place. Now we're about to say aha, I think. Let's just look at the data object. There we go. There's our 180 hue shift.
Good.
Yeah, data's good. I like it. Center, sprites.
Yeah, good.
DTO.
Good.
This. What's going on over here? Am I passing in these values? I am. -1, passing in -1, 180. Is it because I'm passing in a -1 and I'm not correcting those? I bet that's maybe the problem right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're in vector. Let's get out of that. We are in sprites effect. And here's the start function right here. And I bet you this is the deal right here that might be causing the problem. Let's just step through it. We're going to step through till we get out. Here we're in start, hue shift, we're there.
So
we're pressing.
Yeah.
And let's drill in. There's getting the vector. Color shifting proxy. Here's where we're coming in here, creating a new instance of it. Initializing variables. What are we in? We're in the sprite proxy now. Let's shift 11 to get out of this. And we're initializing those values. And then here we're calling this. So we say hue shift. No, we do have a check. We only set it if it's greater than or equal to 0. Same with brightness. So we've done that on both. And this is code we wrote before. This is code we wrote yesterday, or day before last show. So these are all good. Oh, wait. Brightness is -1. Saturation.
Yeah, but this dot brightness is fine.
Yes. Oh, this dot brightness is undefined. Well, let's fix that. That's why it's undefined. Let's say brightness is equal to 100. What is no, it's 50. Medium gray is what we need to do. That may be our problem, is this that brightness is undefined. So let's run. Let's just run and we'll probably see nothing. And let's go to our effect when we click on it. That's not it. Main. This one. Set a breakpoint here, and let's just change the data here because I'm not sure if that initialized piece that we added is going to, here what I mean by that is this is going to happen. This will happen on a refresh, actually. So we can actually solve this with a refresh too, I think. Let's try it. Let's try a refresh of this page. like that. Let's come back over here, click on effect. Can we see anything here? Well, we got a breakpoint. I was going to send different data over is what I was imagining I was going to do here. Hue shift, saturation, keep it 100, and brightness, we'll make it 50. Like that. So we'll just do the same thing here too as well. And then we'll run it, and then we'll run it, and then we'll run it. We'll come back over here and I just realized I didn't do the refresh, do the effect, nothing at all. Is it by chance drawing on this page over here? Not seeing anything there as well. Why would we not be seeing it? If we change the hue to, if we change all that to 0, 0, 0, we should come over here. Sprites ref, sprites push, add. That's all, this is all totally should be working. Set hue set brightness is returning this, so we should be good there. Is there an internet problem? Stream keeps breaking up for me. I am not seeing it here, Will. I've got a pretty good upload speed right now. I'm uploading at about 3,000 kilobits per second. A little less than that, 2,800 right now. So it's in the green. So at least I should be sending stuff out.
The visuals look good from here. I haven't got the audio on, but yeah, it looks pretty coherent.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. I need to go. Let me actually, speaking of which, let me bring up the visuals as well, so I have that separate monitor there so I can see it. It's looking okay to me. I'm like not getting this at all in terms of, I almost am suspecting it's a browser cache issue. Like I almost want to come in empty cache and hard reload.
Sure.
And I want to also try it out in our world as well on our stream to see what we can get. So I'm just going to do the same thing here. And let's maybe move this out of the way and just try it on the stream and see what we get. So just let's do this. That is all working. So that's good. Let's try clicking on effect. Nothing. Is it the position? I think it might be the position, Rory.
Do we change anything about the position?
Yeah.
Or are we not passing it through in the same way?
I said this, and there might be a problem here. We're sending the orient. Oh, wait, I do know. That's what it is. It's absolutely position. Let me show you. It is, hold on. It's in, spriteseffect.start, I think. Here is the problem. It's absolutely our position. The problem is that our get center needs to be offset by an amount. If we look at the other, when we're manually creating and not using add, when we're creating our own descendant of sprite proxy, we need to modify it. There it is right there. By the origin X of the sprite. Okay? Yeah. So that's what we need to do. So we need to kind of come back over here, get our center, and then we need to call add on that, I think, and add a new vector. And the new vector is going to be our spritesref.originX as a negative number. Let's put this to the next line. And followed by origin Y, like that. I think that's going to bring us up into, let's see, that's my vector, get center. And I think I need that.
Does
right there.
add return the source?
Yes. No, wait. Add is to the vector I'm adding.
But does it return the resultant vector? Because it will... No, hang on.
It better. Or
okay.
Or we're idiots. Or,
no, I was thinking of the chaining effect, but actually it would have been more represented elsewhere. So don't worry, ignore me.
So we're good, and I think that's going to do it. I think that has a shot of fixing it. So let's come over. Let's go refresh again one more time, and see if that fixes it. Let's bring up the app. Looks like we're loaded. Click effect. There we go. With a 180 spin and a 50% reduction. Check that out on the stream. Now let's go just to prove that we have control over that now. Sorry about that. Yeah, that was like that bug has hit us more than once.
Well, it's because we have the whole thing built in utilitarianly if we just do a standard add.
Yes.
So when we don't take advantage of our framework in that same sense,
right.
we have to remember that we don't have our framework. We need to do a few things manually.
Yeah, I need an alternate add that takes a sprite sprite proxy and does the manipulation by the origin X automatically is what I need. I'm just going to come in here, click effect one more time. We're just going to change the numbers a bit and see what we get here. So instead of going to 180, we'll go to 220. And we're going to keep, we'll take brightness at 100. And we'll just make those two changes right there for the puff. In fact, maybe we'll go back to what is it? Dense smoke is the other one? Dense smoke to show that we have control over this. So we're going to do that. And we'll run. And then you saw right on the stream, there came the blue coming across here. Will's doing test blood. I'm not seeing the blood.
I'm not seeing the blood either.
Let's see if we can figure that out.
Is that because that only happens if we're looking at... No, that would matter. So
I've got both overlays up. It should totally work. Uh-oh, we've got this. This is not good. The code changes were applied, and I'm hitting cancel. This is not good. We're done. Oh, by the way, on my other monitor, guess what I'm seeing?
What's that? Hey! So at least it's somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere here. I can just do this kind of thing. Like, oh man, I've been coding so long. I got a little rupture in my shoulder. Yeah. Really, I shouldn't do this on the show. But anyway, all right. So you know what we want to do, Rory? I want to say, okay, since we're in this is like a great place to stop.
Good bunch of success we've had here.
This never lets go, by the way. I've never seen this thing let go once
Pay no attention to the edit and continue.
Yeah. In general, edit and continue is our friend. We love Visual Studio. It's awesome, and so we'll stop. Let's give away a copy of CodeRushed because it's time to give away.
It's a brand new car.
You know, we keep saying that, but I think today we'll not do a brand new car. We're gonna wait till our viewership gets up to like a couple million or something. But for now though, we will give away a copy
CodeRushed giveaway.
Of CodeRushed. Every day we do the show, we give away a copy of CodeRushed to one of our followers. So if you're just listening in and not following yet, you might want to follow, and that enters you into the drawing to win a copy of CodeRushed. And today's winner is, look for it,
Angry Moose on the Loose.
Angry Moose on the Loose. Look at how tiny the font is right there for that name. Holy cow, kids. All right. So Angry Moose on the Loose, I will send you a direct message and giving you with instructions on how you can get download instructions for CodeRushed. I want to say thanks to Will Bennett. As always, SQL Mr. Magoo. Thank you as well for helping us out with the sound issue earlier. Everyone else who showed up in the chat room, as well as our good friend Ocular Malice. Nothing keeps us, working hard for your approval as your cutthroat comments, and to the point. So excellent. Thanks to everyone that's out there. Rory, walk home safely. And kids, we will see you on Tuesday.